Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Pod Vision. I stand corrected. We are Tarpon Total Healthcare, and we are your host. Our office is located in Tarpon Springs, Florida. We are a chiropractic practice, and our endeavor is to relieve your pain without the use of drugs or surgery and provide you spinal adjustments that you can trust. My name is Angela Mineo, and I'm the patient liaison for our office, and I am your direct connection to wellness. So thank you for tuning in. Today's guest is a real good alignment with our office. I love the type of medicine that she's practicing because it doesn't involve insurance. Please welcome Angela Mineo. And you are a nurse practitioner, and you have a beautiful new location, and your name, the business name is Cheval Wellness.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being a guest on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
I've got all kinds of questions.
Okay.
So first of all, tell me how you arrived at deciding that you wanted to be a nurse practitioner instead of like an ice skater or a dentist.
I guess I started as a nurse. I decided to be a nurse, I think in high school. I had a aunt that was a nurse back in Texas and loved it and
Nice.
loved caring for people. So that's what made me go that route. And then I always wanted to do mission work, medical mission, like just to help people with that. Yeah.
Like Doctors Without Walls?
Yeah,
Okay.
Doctors Without Borders. That's
that's
part
what
of
I
my
meant.
story. Yeah. So I went through nursing school and I did medical mission trips with Baylor University in Texas. I did like 3 of them there. And then Doctors Without Borders, I actually did used to want to work with them, but so that's what made me go to nurse practitioner school because they need medical providers.
Right.
They need nurses as well, but they really needed medical providers. And I was going to learn French too, but that never happened. But I had an accident in 2010 and a really bad accident, broke my ankle, was out of work for a year and still chronic pain from that. So won't be able to be running around Africa helping Doctors Without Borders. But that is why I went that route. So I knew eventually I wanted my own. I actually want a free clinic at some point. We'll see if we get there, but
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah.
that about you. That's one of the things that I love about it because I always learn something new, like in the moment.
yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I love that organization.
Mhm.
We have a chiropractor that also does something. I think that he does do mission work with
Yeah.
Doctors Without Borders, which is a really cool organization.
It is.
So then tell me about the name of how did you arrive at
Cheval.
Cheval?
I wish I had a good story for that. I don't. It's just so our first lease that we picked is in Lutz.
Mhm.
It's in the Lutz Lake Fern Plaza. We signed that lease back in December, and it's right next to the Cheval subdivision, that community. They have a country club, a very tight-knit community there, and we liked how it sounded, and the logo is a horse, so that's where there's a horse in our logo.
Yeah.
So that was our original lease that we signed in December. So I quit my full-time job with a previous doctor in January and was focusing on getting that open, and construction just took forever. It was dragging out so long. So that's why I decided to rent a room out of a spa in Trinity to get started. So we opened up there at the Renewal Day Spa Trinity in March.
Right. That's where I met you.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm. And then we outgrew that after a few months, and I
Yeah.
brought a nurse on, and then we got our suite in Mill Pond, and we're still waiting on the Lutz location. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the end of this month, the Lutz location will be done.
Well, that's cool. That makes sense. I
Yeah.
like the tie-in.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 solid locations.
I will, yeah.
Wow, you've really jumped right into
I'm
it.
crazy, yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Head first, hands, feet, all
Yes,
in.
Yes. Well, I didn't think it would take off as well as it did in Trinity. Like I think when I originally signed the lease for Trinity, the spa, I thought we would eventually move everything to Lutz and just have the one location, but we've just built up such a client base there in Trinity already that I wouldn't want to have to move all of them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because that's not everybody's starting out story.
No, yeah, it's difficult. I know for a lot of other business types out there,
Yeah. Yeah. So now you were in I mean, what people want to call traditional healthcare,
yeah.
conventional.
Yeah, I did that I was a nurse practitioner in a conventional doctor's office for 7 years before
wow.
doing this.
So you started when you were about 14.
Yeah.
Because you don't look your age,
Yeah.
whatever that
I
number
just
is.
turned 37 last week. So.
Really?
Mhm.
Ooh, good
Yeah.
skin cream you've got going on there. So 7 years you spent.
Yeah, and before that, I was an ICU nurse for about 8 years. I actually worked at Moffitt for a couple of years in their ICU.
Wow.
when I was going to grad school.
Oh, you've seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Then Moffett is building their other location right
Yes, off of
between 52 and
50.
54. Yeah,
It's gonna be
that's going to be
beautiful.
incredible.
Yes, I love
Um,
Moffat.
but so going from traditional or conventional, whichever
Mm-hmm.
one,
Yeah.
I just don't like it, to now it is concierge medicine. I don't think that people really have wrapped their brain around exactly what that means because
Mm-hmm.
it sounds bougie, but it's not.
Yeah.
But it sounds that way. So some people they would immediately kind of push back from it
Mm-hmm.
because it
It sounds
sounds like something
expensive.
that they
Mm-hmm.
could not afford, right?
Mm-hmm.
But truthfully, it's far more affordable
Mm-hmm.
than people would think, especially with the rates that are in healthcare that are
Mm-hmm.
going up and up and up, even for very healthy people.
Mhm. There is a true concierge medicine practices that doctors are doing that
Mhm.
they bill Medicare and then they also charge you a concierge fee on top of that. That can be thousands of dollars a year. There are some doctors doing that, but that's just not what. There's quite a few nurse practitioners actually in our area doing their own clinics, but we wanted to make it more affordable so that more people could be covered,
Right.
and especially those that are uninsured or underinsured or really high deductible plans. So I feel like nurses, I don't want to say that. We care more about helping people and making sure everybody's getting the care they need versus charging thousands of dollars to.
Um, I listen, I've been in this industry for a very long time,
Mhm.
and that is very true.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's very, very true. Um, I know so many wonderful doctors, MDs
Oh,
and
yes.
DOs for certain. And just like there's good and bad in literally
Mhm.
everything in the world. But I will tell you, just like you learn the most from a negative experience than you do exactly from a positive experience. Boy, some of the doctors make it difficult to even want to stay in healthcare.
Mhm.
And then the billing, and then the reimbursement, and then you're like a cat chasing your tail
Mhm.
all the time. So how was the transition going from cat chasing your tail, but that was normal? Like
Yeah.
that's what you were raised
Yeah,
to
that's what we were
think
taught.
in
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, I mean, it is, I can't knock doctors. It is hard. That's the way they're taught and brought up that with the insurance system. So, you know, it the reimbursement is going down every year from insurance companies and Medicare, so they have to fit more and more people into their day to make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So I can understand why they're burnt. I mean, a lot of doctors are burnt out. That's why there's a shortage of primary care providers because of that exact reason. They're so burnt out
Yeah.
and not being able to provide the care that they initially went to medical school for. Like that was why it's just not how they were wanted to practice when they started their journey. So
Gosh,
I totally understand how
it's
it's hard.
hard.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I tell some of my clients when they come in, like I was on that side if they complain about a previous provider, like I was on that side too. And I felt like a failure every day because I
yeah.
had these women that had complaints and I didn't have good solutions for them because insurance didn't cover it. And then, you could only spend 5-10 minutes with them. And you're spending that whole time making sure you're checking all the insurance box requirements.
Yep.
Like that's all you're focused on the whole time. And you spend hours a day charting just to get the insurance to cover what
Yep.
you did, that you don't have time left to actually focus on what they need and want. So it's tough.
And you're right. Listen, the side of healthcare that I'm on is the clerical administrative management side. I wasn't trying to touch people. That was just not, I started out to be a nurse because that was the only way that my dad was going to pay for college. And I had straight A's and B's, and then I had EMP, and
Oh, AMP.
and I had a 40.
Yeah.
I had a 40. I failed it, but then I did one ambulance ride along, and it could not have been a worst case
Oh, no.
scenario. Oh, it was a pregnant lady,
Oh, no.
and she was hit by a drunk driver who fled the scene, and she was 8 months pregnant, and they found her and her baby separated from one another.
Aw.
And it was just, so I was like, done with nursing. I don't want to
Aw.
have anything to do with this. But I love helping people too.
Mhm.
So on the administrative side, I spent very little time getting to manage and be an asset to my team.
Mhm.
I spent more time as a human fire extinguisher.
Mhm.
Patients would storm into my office because they were so angry that they got 5 minutes. They waited 3 months.
Mhm.
If they were lucky, it was just 3 months to get into their appointment. If they were 5 minutes late, no soup for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's another 4 months, and now they're out of medic like, it is such a broken
It
system
is.
that gets worked
Mhm.
horribly, and I was so disgusted with the entire Medicare, specifically managed care
Mhm.
scene.
Yeah.
I congratulate you for making, because it was a bold decision, because if all you've known is, "Okay, well, now I need to get credentialed with 14 different insurances so I can
Mhm.
see all of these people and hopefully get paid for maybe half of them,
Yeah.
not fully."
Yeah.
It's like buckshot,
Mhm.
and it's so you've gotta feel so much better now
Yeah.
getting to spend.
Well, like, I didn't have to deal with that side, luckily, the insurance side, but I would hear from supervisors and owners and things that how difficult that is
Yeah.
and their pressure on you to see more people. So yeah, I definitely felt the pressure. So it's nice being able to I have on our website, like on our homepage, our main values, and part of it, I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but like unrushed, like we can take our time. We're not
Yes.
having to, not nervous about getting everything out that you need to get out. You're able to do everything that you have to do.
Matter of fact, I took notes on you.
Oh, good.
And so, like, one of the, where is it at here? Here it is. You have, so the huge vantage points to going to Cheval Wellness is patients would have direct access to you as their
Oh,
provider,
hmm,
increased amount of time that you can spend with your patients because the patient load is significantly reduced.
hmm,
It allows you longer and more personalized appointments. Questions and concerns are answered and addressed with you,
hmm,
not someone else,
hmm.
not an MA or, front office person. Communication with you is easy. That's been my experience as well. A plus. Um, you have a heavy emphasis on prevention, and that
Mhm.
leads to better overall outcomes. Like, you couldn't be a more perfect alignment with our
Oh,
office, because that's how Dr. John sees that healthcare should be done
hmm.
as well.
Yeah, more like getting to the root cause of the problem instead of just giving medication. So our tagline is integrative direct primary care. So there's a functional medicine side, and
Right.
so I try to implement that with the conventional, kind of mix it in when possible for our
Right.
clients, so that we try to do root cause things. But if you really need something for your blood pressure, we'll take care of that too. But I really
Right.
try to focus on the preventative and figuring out the actual cause of your problem instead of just giving you more medications for it.
Which, in all honesty, and I don't know how to be anything else, that's something that sets you apart,
Mm.
and in the medical community, because it's once you're taught how to be driven for money, patient care does go to the wayside, and it shows.
Mhm.
And so the few brave of you that have separated yourself out, and you're like, nope, I'm not going to do it that way. Take your Medicare number back, and
Mhm.
I'm actually just going to focus on actual real health care. The money follows.
Mhm.
Good
Hopefully.
money
Yeah.
follows.
Yeah.
Yeah, your practice will grow, your reputation, of course, will follow the type of care that you give,
Mhm.
because you have an excellent reputation. In the
Thank
very
you.
short time that you've been a business
Yeah.
owner, um, everybody that I know knows you and loves you.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
and you're a good
That's
provider.
nice. Yeah.
So your list of services, because you do a number of different things
Mhm.
also, you specialize, I guess that's yeah, you focus
Yeah.
on a couple of very specific things. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I don't think I really went into the details for the direct primary care, how we
Yes.
do primary care. So instead of taking insurance, we do a monthly membership, like a subscription fee. It's
Mhm.
auto billed monthly. And then all of the visits for the month are included in that. So you don't have to pay again if you come back, you got a physical and then you get sick, you don't pay again. No copays or nickel and diming everything. And so that is for the direct primary care, and that also we include generic medications, most generic medications with
Mhm.
that, and then we have a really good pricing for lab work too. So that's all part of the direct primary care, and then we also have the weight loss program, the medical weight loss program, which
Right.
is customizable for everybody because one size doesn't fit all for people. And then we also have the bioidentical hormone replacement program as well, with like the natural bioidentical forms of hormones.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and you don't just see women, you see men
Hmm.
and women,
Yes, men and women.
for weight loss and things like that
Mhm.
too. So, do you start at age 18? Do you have to be an
It's
adult?
it's technically like puberty, so I can
Okay.
see somebody like 16, 15, 16.
Okay. Bless you.
I think we generally put 18 plus just to make it simple.
Right. So let's say that it's a family of 5
Mm-hmm.
or 6,
Mm-hmm.
and they've decided that they just, don't want to pay $1,200 a month in premiums
Mm-hmm.
to, whatever, ABC insurance company. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to put anybody on Front Street
Yeah.
and use an actual name. And so I hope I'm not using going to work your brain, because my brain doesn't work in numbers, it works in colors. But like the cost comparison for a family of 4 or 5 to come to you with no insurance versus what they're paying in premiums
Mm-hmm.
is I would think it's probably a pretty significant
Yeah.
difference.
So, I mean, there's an enrollment fee of $50 that includes basic blood work and EKG for each person, but then it's $75 a month after that per month for each person, but each additional family member is $10 off.
Oh, wow.
So then it'd be $65 for each additional family member.
So 75 for one and 65 for the rest,
Mm-hmm.
$50 each for enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the
Mm-hmm.
and services, not just to just sign up. That's awesome.
And like all of our services that you would get in a doctor's office, like if you need a breathing treatment or a joint injection or anything like that, those are all included too.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to reconsider some other things in my life too.
So, but we do, I mean, we can't cover catastrophic things, or we can't see you in the hospital. So we do recommend the catastrophic insurance, the high deductible insurance. But like for me, when I was working full time, my insurance was like $1,000. I'm sorry. That was on my husband's plan. It was $1,000 for both of us. And then when I got my own, and if he was by himself, it was only like $90, but with the spouse, it was $1,000. So I got off his plan and got my own catastrophic plan that was $300. So still, even if I had to get a DPC membership or something, like it's still saving a lot.
That's mind blowing.
And then that doesn't even talk about like the deductible that you have to meet before they start covering your care too.
Yeah.
So
Deductibles, co-insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are so many terms that people don't understand.
Yeah. Well, they make it confusing, I think, on purpose. So.
Yeah, 100%. When I was the human fire extinguisher, it was either because the doctor that I was working for they didn't feel like they were being treated fair. My doctor's not listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
He spent 5 minutes. Can't get my medication because now he's got to go on to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Understand those frustrations, and I was powerless to do anything. And then the other one was EOB explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Crap, Ola.
Yeah. And so when we started, people ask us if they can use their insurance for a lot of things, like for the hormone placement, like the lab work. It's like we tried to do that, use their insurance, but then we would get so many rejections, and then they would end up paying, thousands of dollars for this blood work that if we had just ran it under our cash account, it was $100.
Wow.
So it was not even worth the hassle of trying to use your insurance, because you would never know when you're doing it if it was going to be covered or not. You would only find out afterwards. Yeah. So it was very frustrating. So we just don't even.
Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is going to work. Mm-hmm. Oh, it doesn't. And then there's no takebacks.
Yeah. And then they're upset with you. So yeah, just try not to even offer that as an option anymore, because people would get so upset and there's nothing we can do about it.
Right. And they don't understand that either. And and that's one thing off your list of things to worry about, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So with the program that you are now implementing, is there a company that you're working with, or is this just you on your own?
For what program?
So when I worked up in Indiana, this is when I was introduced to the idea of concierge medicine, and it was a company called MD Live.
Oh, no, I'm not a part of any of those organizations.
So then that's even better. Yeah. So you have no designations, no affiliations.
Mm-mm.
You are just Cheval Wellness. That's great news, actually.
Yeah.
When you're not under somebody else's rules, therefore under either one of their thumbs, it does make things so much better in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So okay, so then as far as the weight loss goes, I'm familiar with weight loss, but back about 6-7 years ago, the company that I worked for, it was, I think that they had a single mindset, and it was only phentermine, going and keeping you in ketosis, and then the B12 shots. But there's a lot more options now than just doing, because some people don't want to take phentermine, some people
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
So what does your weight loss
Well,
programs look like?
even we do have the program, we call it the balance program, that does use appetite suppressants, but there's lots of options. There's not just phentermine, there's diethyl there's Contrave, there's a bunch of different
Okay.
options. Like for people that aren't able to tolerate the phentermine, like if they get palpitations or headaches or anything like that. So there's lots of different options to choose from. But we also, what I like to kind of point out for people is that we also help you with any side effects. Like there's always a way to fix whatever side effect you might be having or manage it, like
Mhm.
retiming when you take the medication or giving you or take Tylenol for a headache or the other medication we have, semaglutide, if you need some Zofran for nausea, like we take
Right.
care of all of that too, because not a lot of places, weight loss clinics will do that. You're kind of on your own with the side effects.
Right.
After a while.
That's not nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and my nurse talk about that all the time. It's like, this could be really complicated, like for the semaglutide program. If you just got a vial, which a lot of online places are, like, you can get it cheap online. You just get a vial and then trying to
Where
figure
did it
out.
come from?
Yeah. Well, and then trying to figure out how to dose it because there's a very specific dosing that you got to do. Because if you start out too high, you'll be sick and
Right.
then you'll stop right away. So you got to start low and slowly work up. And then, if something happens and you got to go back down. So it's complicated to handle. I don't understand how people can get a vial and figure it out from there. And
I can't
no
believe that they can
support.
get it just like to be able just to order it. That
Yeah.
doesn't feel safe at all, but it's an
Yeah.
option. Ugh.
Yeah. I've seen Facebook ads about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
But
gross.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
Medicine
yeah.
done wrong.
Yes. So, but that's one of the things we pride ourselves on is making sure we're there. And like the kind of with the DPC, like they're able to text us. Our phone number accepts text messages or
Right.
message us at any time if they have a problem or a question. and
Right.
Respond right away.
So now we had talked a while ago. There were some other services that you were looking at, or at least one specifically that you're looking at possibly bringing on to your list of services,
Mhm.
which was the IV
Oh, yes.
therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we started that a little bit, but there's
Okay.
some laws changing in November, so we got to figure out from there. But we have like the banana bag if you drink too much the night before and need some rehydration. And there's one for immunity. So we have those set up, and our new space has IV chairs in it.
Oh yeah, your new space is
Yeah.
beautiful.
So we've done a couple of those, but we'll have to see what happens in November when they change the laws. And there's going to be a lot more requirements for IV
Hmm.
administration. So the IV bars that you see around, I don't know how those are going to do if that's all you're focusing on, because they're going to start having requirements that are very expensive, like a hood and a clean room. Like it's going to be a lot more rigorous.
So then the ones that are able to come and see you at home, like at home IV treatments,
I don't
that's
know.
going
I
to
still have to.
complicate that.
Yeah, it'll complicate it for them. I have to meet with my lawyer to figure out specifics because it's hard to understand the whole regulations, the whole list of it. But
Right.
Mm.
Well,
Get that
you got a
figured
lot
out.
going on, and
Thank
it's
you.
all going well. And I'm
Yes, I'm
really, really
excited.
happy for you.
you.
And your husband,
Yes.
he's making a transition soon himself, and so
Yes.
that's going to be great for both of you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Make sure that you know your doctor.
Mhm.
Knowing your primary care physician is incredibly important. Please take this from somebody that has spent almost 20 years in this
Mhm.
industry. Knowing your doctor does not happen in, every 3 to 6 months for 5 to 10 minutes at a
Mhm.
time. Have a primary care physician that listens to you, that asks you questions, that cares about your health, um, in a way that's not rushed, and it doesn't pressure you to do things that you don't want to do, or they may not even align with how you feel like you want your health care to be. So Cheval Wellness, they've got 2 locations, one that's up and going right now in Trinity. Check out all of their socials. She posts some really good things on Facebook. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Tarpon Total Healthcare really values all of our faithful followers on YouTube and all of our socials. Follow us on all of our socials. We're even on TikTok, so we're figuring that whole platform out. And so just know that Tarpon Total Healthcare wants to provide you spinal adjustments that you can trust so you too can stand corrected. Thanks for watching. See you next week.